Afternoon. We're here with Matt Hammond from Navigation Wealth Management. How you doing, Matt?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. So yeah, let's kick it off and we'll go straight in. If you'd like to give us a bit of background as to who you are, what you do, and how long you've been doing it for, please.
Yeah, absolutely. My name's Matt Hammond. I'm the CEO of Navigation Wealth Management. I've been the CEO now for around about 4 years. The objective of joining the company was to grow it to be a sustainable multi-advisor company to offer holistic advice to clients in all different sectors all over the UK and in some instances Europe. I was previously an executive manager for a FTSE 100 company, St James's Place Wealth Management. That role was very much being a business consultant, going into businesses, discussing with them their aspirational growth plans and formulating plans to help them get there. Prior to that, I was an area manager for HBOS, or Halifax Bank of Scotland, working with teams of financial advisors, helping to develop them, offering advice to Halifax Bank customers in the branch network. And before that, I was a financial advisor for both Halifax Bank and for, going back a long way, the Cooperative Insurance Society. So round about 20 years in the financial services sector, which is quite unusual for somebody of my age demographic, as inherently it's a business that people tend to join an industry or a sector at a later stage in life, north of 40s. So to have 20 years plus experience at the age of 40 is quite unusual, and hopefully it's puts in good stead to take navigation on its journey. Excuse the pun.
Brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. In terms of navigation and how long they've been going as a business.
Yes, Navigation went to our 22nd year. Originally, it was started with our head offices based from Wakefield. Navigation was formed by two sole trader businesses, merging two companies together to create a singular company with shared administration, resource and offices. As that company grew through client service and client experience, there was a need to bring in financial advisors into the company to support the client servicing. And inherently, a little bit like footballers, the best footballers don't necessarily make the best managers in the future. The best financial advisors are great at delivering advice to clients, maybe not so much on running a business and growing the business. And that was where I got involved to come in 4 years ago to bring the systems, the processes, and the infrastructure to the organisation. So we look after around about £500 million for our clients, about 4,000 clients, as I mentioned, all across the UK. And that's fundamentally been built on client relationships and clients being happy with what we do and how we do it, and subsequently referring us to friends, family, business associates, etc.
Brilliant. Good, strong business there. So since you've been there 4 years, obviously COVID happened. What was the biggest impact of that for you guys?
Well, we've expanded throughout COVID, actually. We opened offices in East Yorkshire, and probably the biggest impact was we purchased new premises to expand the brand, and that was in February 2020, and by April we were sat with some empty offices, unable to renovate them. So we had a year of being sat on empty premises. That was probably our biggest impact short term. But what I would say is, probably on reflection for the business, COVID has helped us mature as a business. There was always a series of work that I wanted to do within the business regarding the implementation of technology. This financial services sector is inherently quite archaic to an extent, that it's always been pens, papers, wet signatures, sitting in front of people face to face, which is brilliant, by the way, because there's nothing better than meeting people in person. But what COVID enabled us to do was bring in the long-standing challenge of implementing technology, encouraging clients and financial advisors to utilise video calls, cloud-based storage systems, home working, not necessarily being in an office, nor driving across the country for a face-to-face meeting. So that was the first thing. The second thing is what we really recognised was the importance of client contact and the need for reassurance to clients in times of uncertainty. We'd been through conflict before, we'd been through stock market crashes. We haven't been through, in recent history, a global pandemic. So therefore, it was very hard to forecast what was happening in the world and the economies. And clients can occasionally react with emotion. So what we need to do is have a close contact strategy, encourage clients not to panic, think rationally and stick to the plan. So, we ran more webinars than we've ever ran before to keep clients engaged and abreast of ever-changing markets. We had team members working remotely. We had online team building sessions, so our own employees and team members didn't feel isolated. So fun quizzes, for example, became a regular occurrence on a Friday afternoon. I don't mind sharing with you a few Pims and gin and tonics were spotted on those calls as well. So, we made it our mission to speak more each day than we ever have done in the past. And it worked because we continue to grow throughout COVID, and we've learned from that, and hopefully we'll carry on some of those best practices.
Yeah, good stuff. I was going to ask about, continuing some of those things that you found that you had to do during the pandemic, but it sounds like, you've adapted and kept some of those going. That's good. Thank you very much for that share. A lot of businesses, some of them, had a lot of improvements in COVID, as well as other different types of businesses had some more challenging times. That's a good share. Thank you. So where are you in terms of where you are now? What does the future look like? What do you see as the main challenges going ahead?
Well, the future's certainly bright. We have a number of new people in the company. That can really only enhance what we do for our clients and helping out team members as well. They'll get better as they get more experience across our roles. We've grown as a company round about 200% in the last 4 years from our starting point. So, what I'd like us to do is consolidate our growth, provide more opportunity, ensure that business security is there for providing longevity for years to come, so we can, Navigation becomes a legacy company that has constantly got team members being part of the community. I think we've got challenges. New government coming in, different policies is always going to be a challenge. Obviously, there's the proposed rise in corporation tax, which could impact cash flow. That's the same for most businesses, and we'll be interested to see what the new Prime Minister does regarding that. But I think for me, maybe wrongly, I have this little motto, which is be fearful when others are greedy, be greedy when others are fearful. It's very easy to jump on the bandwagon and get involved, a bit like Bitcoin, I suppose. When it was right at its peak, everybody's getting involved in it. But when it starts to go wrong, maybe that's the time to be involved. And I just think that COVID presented a real opportunity for us to really spread our wings, and we took advantage of that.
Yeah, that's a good share. I think, once people know about things, if you like, with the Bitcoin, it's too late. It's kind of trying to get to places before people know about it. Or alternatively, when the market's down, that's the time to invest. And there's always opportunities, no matter what the situation is. It's just having the right mindset to find those. So it's a good share. Thank you very much. So just kind of moving on to yourself, the position where you're at now, and being head of a business, what would you say the biggest learning is you've had in your 4 years at Navigation?
I think there's a couple of things. Sometimes things don't matter to everybody else as much as they matter to you when you own that business, when that's your baby. And I think you have to acknowledge that, otherwise you can be left disappointed. The other thing is your people, your team. They genuinely want to be part of something. I think they want to know the job that they're doing. It's not just important, but it's really worthwhile, and they're making a difference. The company can't function without somebody doing their bit of their piece of the jigsaw puzzle. So the team really need to know that what they do is worthwhile, not just important. And then the team in Navigation will tell you, particularly the management team, they get fed up with me saying, communicate, communicate, communicate. I think very little should be off limits. The more informed the team are, the more that they feel they're part of something, the more that they feel they're influencing decisions and direction of where the company's going. And I think if we look after them, they'll look after us and you as business owners, and they'll be there on the journey with you for the long term, which is what you want to do when you're building a sustainable team. You want people with you for years to come, but they need to feel part of something.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for that. So if we were kind of being able to advise a younger person going into business, what would your advice be to them to try and help them have success?
Okay, well, I used to hate what's being said to me, and it used to really, it was maybe a bit of a motivational factor for me to try and move on. The best advice I would give would be just initially to slow down, enjoy the journey, don't focus on the destination. You can miss everything that is around you if you're so focused on trying to get to that end result. I would also say it's okay to not know what you want to do or what direction you want to take the business in when you first start in that company. It might organically find the direction that it wants to go through, a certain sector that you enjoy working in, or a certain product that you have that fits a certain target market. But it's okay to not know when you start. I think you need to just enjoy it. You need to be passionate about it. And there's nothing unhealthy about work becoming a hobby, because that, to me, just demonstrates that you actually enjoy doing what you do for a living.
Good stuff. Another great share. Thank you very much. Something that resonates well here. So what inspires you to do what you do? Do you use anything like listen to stuff, podcasts, reading, or it could be your team at work, anything that you use for inspiration?
Yeah, inspiration-wise, I don't think you can go wrong with a good book. I've tried the audio books. Some of them are brilliant. If you don't like the accent of the author, I'm thinking of one specifically, a very famous one. It's quite hard to listen to, but it's a good read. Yeah. I won't say anything more than that.
You're not going to share it with us. You're leaving me on tenterhooks here.
Well, I just don't want to be sued.
Fair enough.
No, it's the Chimp Paradox.
Yeah.
The Chimp Paradox is a really good book to read, but maybe not so much of an easy listen. So yeah, books for inspiration are really useful. I think you probably retain a very small element of what you read, but fundamentally, if you can retain even a small percentage, it's something extra that you didn't have in the armory before, and just building that into what you do on your day-to-day job, it just helps you move forward. So that's certainly one of the things that I would be saying. People is what inspires me. You know, we get up, we go again, we make it happen. We have fallbacks, we get knocked back. That's just part of, you know, running a business or being part of a team. The team's important to us. You know, we live and breathe our core values in this company. It's very easy to design core values and stick them up on a wall, but never talk about them, or never live or breathe by them, or pull people up on them if you're not living and breathing by what you've agreed is the DNA of the company. So the core values that help us make daily decisions in the company, that's really important for me. Each team member lives, breathes them. It's the DNA of the company, and that helps inspire me. Now on that note, I would say our core values in the company weren't designed by myself and the management and the leadership team. They were designed by our people. They voted on the ones they wanted, the behaviours they want to demonstrate. It's built into the appraisal documents. It's built into the remuneration schemes. It's built into our recruitment process. So we know that when we bring people into our family, they're going to be a great fit culturally alongside our core values.
Ownership of them. Sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. And then lastly, is there any sort of latest news around what you're doing, or sort of direct? It might simply be directing people to your website if they're interested in having a look at what you do in a little bit more detail.
Yeah, you know, I mentioned this before. We've recently recruited a further 7 new team members. We've just acquired another wealth management company as part of our growth strategy, an East Yorkshire-based practice, BRC Wealth Management. They're now part of navigation, so that fits nicely alongside our operational model for the growth plan of East Yorkshire to complement Wakefield. We are always looking to work with people as well that are wanting a second career. They might be interested in becoming a financial advisor but not knowing where to start. Well, again, we have our academy program for second careerists that may be looking at trying to get into financial services and becoming a financial advisor. So yeah, drop by the website, have a look. There's information on there, and there's lots of there's lots of detail about what we do. And what I would say is, I think our company name, Navigation Wealth Management, can sometimes sound like we are excluding certain people because we only want to operate with clients of certain portfolios of wealth, and actually that couldn't be further from the truth. Whether it's somebody taking out the first mortgage, taking out some life insurance to protect the family, or is about to sell a business and needs some strategic tax planning, you know, from the beginning to the very end, that's what Navigation Wealth Management do with our clients. So yeah, drop by the website and take a look.
Brilliant. Matt, hope it goes from strength to strength for you, and all the best with everything.
Thanks ever so much. Thanks, Matt.